I'm Jay Seidel with the La Habra Journal, and I'm here with John Dobson, who's a candidate running for re-election for the La Habra City School District School Board. Welcome, John.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. I appreciate it.
No problem. One of the things I wanted to ask, now you're currently a school board member.
I am.
And when you were first elected to the school board?
This would be my second term, so I have been on the school board for 4 years. I've been president 2 years, which is unusual because Liv Steves resigned, and so then, because we had such a brand new school board, it was decided that I would do that a second time. So of the 4 years, I've been president for 2.
Well, what made you want to run for re-election for the school?
Well, I had been, many years ago, back in the 70s, I had been a teacher, so I was involved in education. I was out of education for several years as a sales rep. And when I decided to retire in 2003, I decided, for a little extra money and so forth, I decided to use my credential and sub, and I did that in this district. So I got to know the teachers, I got to know the students, I got to know the administrators at each school, and then there were some problems, as we know, and so I sensed that it was a district, which was my district, where my kids had gone to school, was a little under siege, and I felt that at the time that I had some leadership skills and some knowledge that I could be of help, and so I ran and I won. And so for the 4 years I've been doing that. And as far as why I'm running again, is to me, we have made progress. There still are challenges ahead of us. We're a changing district, we have changing demographics, and we've had a history of some issues, but I think we're getting over the hump, and I want to be part of that. I want to finish the job, if you will.
And that actually kind of segues to another question of mine. Mm-hmm. Where do you see, since you're currently on the board and you've been a part of the board, where do you see the La Habra City School District now and kind of where it's going?
Well, I do think that, as I just mentioned, we have changing demographics in our city. We have a lot of the older people that live in our district, including me, have no kids, or we have some grandkids, but they may not be going to our schools. And then we have a younger population who want to have good schools. And I truly believe that there is a desire for good schools. But it presents a challenge because not all of our younger people, parents, are well educated or highly educated, as say in Newport or Irvine, if you will. So it is our desire, my desire, to try and provide the best possible education for these kids, because these kids do have great potential. I'm certainly proud of the fact that we've done that some of our kids have done some amazing things, like the Water Guardians, and some of our schools have become gold ribbon schools. So I feel that we're providing the platform for these kids to succeed, and I think they will, and ultimately.
One of the things that happened recently was the superintendent retired, yes. Mm-hmm. And so that left a vacancy, and the board elected to wait until the new board was in position to hire the new superintendent that's going to kind of help move the district forward. With that happening, what do you see, if reelected, what do you see happening as far as the skills that you're looking for and the desired qualification, and what do you want from the superintendent?
Well, we have hired a search team, Leadership Associates, and it's not so much what I want or even what the board wants, it's what this community wants. So they have reached out to the community, and we've actually gotten excellent response from the community for what they want. I think the consensus is that we're looking for someone who is a people person, if you will, who reaches out to the community, works with the community, works with various parts of the city government, because we're a small little community up here in North Orange County, and we're a close community, and so we've reached out. We're in that process. That is coming together. In fact, I've gotten emails recently from Dr. Beckler, who's handling that, to consolidate those ideas, and a decision will be made just when to release that to the public, because whenever there's personnel issues, there has to be a certain amount of confidentiality. But we're looking for a person who can work with the teachers, who can work with the CSEA, which are the classified employees, who can work to bring a first-class education. So curriculum will be very much be part of what we're looking for, someone who's strong in curriculum, both math and reading, but a person who works well with everybody. And one concept that we've talked about, never done, is in relationship to the unions, if you will, or teacher organizations and the classified organizations, is a concept called interest-based bargaining, which is a more collaborative approach. These two men that we've hired, Dr. Sean and Dr. Winger, have had a history of this, and they're kind of doing this. The teachers are excited about this possibility because we really want to have smooth sailing. I've said to the board, and I've said publicly, that it's almost like a Tommy Lasorda concept, but we all need to be pulling on the rope from the same direction. We can't be tugging at each other, because that's the only thing that will really help our kids be successful.
Now, another thing is, every year the test scores are released, the statewide testing, and I know there was the shift to the Common Core and the new standardized testing, which kind of adjusted things. However, kind of traditionally the last few years, Habra has been struggling with academic test scores, and the school district has. If reelected, what's one of the things as a school board member do you see that you can do to help fix that?
Well, we have already begun to address that problem. It's a delicate situation because, if we have a lot of pre-test and so forth, it takes away time from the instructional time, and yet with the new Common Core type of testing, it's all done on computers, so there's a learning curve for our kids. We are pleased that there was improvement, and that's really all we can look for at this point, is a constant improvement. We were shocked as a board, to be very honest, a year ago when our test scores were the lowest in the county, and the register put that in there. So my position at the time, and it continues to be, is everybody involved, whether it be the board, they have to ask the questions: are we providing the right curriculum? Are we providing the right resources? Are we providing the right things for our kids to be successful? And I think teachers have to ask, am I being successful with these kids? I think administrators have to ask, are we providing the right leadership? And I think parents need to say, need to be part of the solution of this. But so it's everybody looking inward and not pointing at each other, but saying, what can we do to improve this situation? Now, in all honesty, I would love to have the same test scores as Newport Beach, but I'm not sure that's realistic, because they have an awful lot of college graduate parents, and their kids go get more resources and so forth at a younger age. But we can be better, and that's really the key. And the scores so far this year are better than last year, and hopefully they will continue to be better. One thing that relates to this is we've been told that a lot of our kids who come to kindergarten are behind. And so because of that, we're looking at trying to see what we can do as a district. We have no control over any of the preschools, but we're looking at what resources can we help the preschools in the area, whether they're private or public preschools or whatever. We want these kids to come to us ready to learn, and we're finding that we trail in that as well as the test scores. So a lot of our kids start off behind to begin with, and we're addressing that. We're trying to address it.
It's kind of like the high school district would look to provide resources and reach out to the Habra City School District to prepare them for high school, that kind of stuff. So now it's just taking it to the other end.
I've had discussions with both of our local high schools. It's the same kids, but they seem to flourish once they get to high school. So we may be doing more good than we think we are, but it's just the same. There's an awful lot of kids that have come through the Habra City School District and have gone to Sonora or La Habra High School and are flourishing out there and doing very well and going to first-class universities. So that's a good thing. But they're also, I don't know what their dropout rates, but I know that some of the kids that come through us get to high school and they drop out. And that's unfortunate. We want to help in that respect.
I mean, I think that's, system wide. I think that's just not like a La Habra thing. That's
absolutely.
That's a countrywide. But and the last thing, I mean, that's great examples. What's something you want the community to know about you that they might not already know?
Well, I've said this to many before. I do come from an educational family. I have made the point that someone in my family has been in public education for the last 10 decades. Starting with my grandfather in the 1920s and 30s and 40s, both my parents in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. I was in education in the 70s and 80s, and both my daughters are teachers. So, and my wife was a teacher during the 90s. So, we are very, as a family, are very tied into public education, and so I bring that background or family legacy to the board, and I don't know if everybody knows that, but that is one of my one of my things.
That's a family tradition.
Yes,
that's the family business, right?
Yes.
Then.
All right. Well, John, thanks for being here. That concludes the interview here.
Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it. Thanks.